All right, what's going on, everybody? So this is David Gomez. I want to share with you why I became a life insurance agent. Now, I've been licensed now for several years. Formerly, I was a social worker. I was capped out at $52,000 per year, so I was looking for something different. So I'm gonna explain to you why I chose life insurance versus real estate, versus just getting a second job, versus just online options. Right? I'm gonna share with you. Number one, in insurance, I was able to set my own schedule. So for me, here's what I knew. I knew I wanted secondary income, but I didn't want a secondary boss. I didn't want a secondary schedule, right? I already had a full-time job and I was busy with a couple other things, but um, the one of the things that attracted me the most about life insurance is I was able to set my own schedule. Now, number two, I was able to work in the industry part time versus having to quit my job and do this full time. Now, in insurance, this is why you have to pick the right company. There are companies that do not work with part time agents. They would basically require you to treat it like a full time job. Therefore, they would give you a schedule, so you can't set your own schedule, and you can't do it part time. You're going to be compensated for a full time job in essence, right? So what I liked about our company is the flexibility as well as the ability to do it part time. So it's not only the insurance industry, but it's picking the right company. Now, next, I believed in the product. Now, I come from I'm a Christian, and I believe in leaving an inheritance for your kids. Right? I'm a father. I'm a provider. I'm a husband. And I believe in taking care of my family. So I very much believe in the product. I would own the product without even selling it. And I would even talk about the product without even being in a position where I'm licensed to do so, just because I believe in it. Now, um, it also allowed me to maintain my reputation because let's say I was going to sell something I didn't really believe in. I come from the youth pastor background, so a lot of my early clients were from my church. And I thought, if I sell them, let's say a car that, let's say was a used car that had a clean Carfax, but ended up being in an accident or something, something that was a little bit uncertain, I would feel guilty, and my reputation would be easily on the line. What I love about a life insurance, I can't mess it up, because if somebody passes away, the only thing they're going to wish is that they would have had more life insurance, right? They're not going to be ever be mad that they had life insurance. So very much I believe in the product. In the Hispanic community, there's just not a lot of education when it comes to life insurance. When somebody passes away, you start selling food or car washes or doing fundraisers. Now the modern one is GoFundMe. But I thought, what if I could sit down with my community and start educating people young, and it's very affordable, very possible. That the challenge is just not a lot of education, right? So I believed in the product. Next, low startup cost. I looked at other businesses, other industries. Real estate's more expensive. I looked at ATMs, more expensive. I sold food, more expensive, right? Other industries are more expensive. In Texas, the license is 370 beginning to end. In California, about 550 beginning to end. So I invested just under $600, and at this point, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in return. But I compared it. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I compared it to how much I invested into my degree. I invested $100,000, half of that scholarships, the other 46,000 in student loans, and I thought $600, $500, $300 is way less expensive than $46,000 that I had to take loans on, right? So very low startup cost. I thought worst case scenario, if I get started in insurance and I hate it, I'm with the company 1, 2, 3, 4 months, and I take the knowledge and the education with me forever, because you can't take that away. It was like I paid for a college course, and I just walk away from the company. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, it actually works out great, and I end up loving it and end up sticking around. That's actually what happened there. Next, high upside potential. When I was introduced to the insurance industry, I had zero desire to leave my job as a social worker. My plan was to get my license, pay off my student loan debt, and then leave the industry. That was my plan. But I also saw that people were doing it as a career, and people were making six figures. Some people were making seven figures. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it part time. And later I started to realize the upside. I didn't necessarily get into it because of the upside, but later as I did it, I realized the upside. So the upside is what allowed me to stay in the industry, and we were able to benefit from that. Next, mentorship included. Again, this largely depends on the company, but in my company, our company, we include guidance, support, mentorship. I've heard horror stories, terrible stories of other companies that when somebody gets started, they basically say, "Here, go watch these videos, teach yourself," and it's so much independence, and people say we're independent here, right? As if that's a good thing. What that means is you have a lack of support. In my industry, there's a lot of training, support, development. So the mentorship comes included not only in the process of how to get the license, but in the process of how to use the license, and then even how to potentially grow your own agency. So those would be the six reasons why I got started specifically in the life insurance industry. If you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram or on Facebook, or send me a message, post a comment here on YouTube. I could be found with davidgomez.agency on many platforms. So I'd love to connect. With that said, God bless everybody. Bye bye.